Weird American laws.
Did you know it's illegal to fall asleep on a cheese factory's conveyor belt in Wisconsin? Yes, not eat the cheese, not steal the cheese. Specifically, do not fall asleep on the cheese factory conveyor belt. And if that sounds oddly specific, congratulations, you're beginning to understand America. How this law was born. To understand this law, you first need to understand Wisconsin. Wisconsin doesn't just like cheese. Wisconsin is cheese. Cheese is culture, cheese is economy, cheese is identity. If you insult cheese in Wisconsin, someone will politely smile and then never trust you again. Now go back to the early 20th century. Industrialization is booming. Cheese factories are popping up everywhere. Conveyor belts move massive wheels of cheese from one room to another. Everything smells like milk, salt, and ambition. Factories are loud, repetitive, hot, and workers are exhausted. Long shifts, early mornings, little sleep, and occasionally someone would lie down just for a second on the conveyor belt. At first it sounded harmless. Just rest your eyes, just a moment. But conveyor belts do not care about your need for a nap. When one bad idea becomes a law. There were incidents, near incidents, embarrassing stories no one wanted repeated. Workers falling asleep and slowly being carried through the factory like sleepy cheese accessories. Supervisors panicking, machines stopping, cheese wheels crashing. In one infamous case, often exaggerated because America loves exaggeration, a worker allegedly traveled halfway through the production line before anyone noticed.
Subscribe and like.
Was anyone hurt? Mostly pride. Was cheese endangered? Absolutely. And in Wisconsin, endangering cheese is serious business. Factory owners complained. Insurance companies complained louder. Safety inspectors showed up with clipboards and very tired faces. Someone finally said, "We need a rule." Not a general safety guideline, not a suggestion, a law. Why so ridiculously specific? Because this is how American laws often work. Instead of saying, "Don't behave dangerously at work," they say, "Do not fall asleep on the cheese conveyor belt." Clear, direct, impossible to misunderstand. This law wasn't written because lawmakers imagined this happening every day. It was written because it happened just enough times to become a problem. And once something becomes a law, it tends to stick around forever, like a smell of cheese in your clothes. Does the law still exist? Here's the fun part. Yes, technically it still exists. Is it actively enforced? No. Are police waiting outside cheese factories with warrants? Also no. Today, this law mostly lives in old legal codes, safety manuals, trivia lists, and the hearts of people who love weird laws. Modern factories have strict safety regulations. Falling asleep on any machinery would get you fired long before it gets you arrested. But legally speaking, if you did fall asleep on a cheese conveyor belt in Wisconsin, you would be breaking the law. The punishment? Usually unclear. Older versions mention fines. Some mention workplace penalties. None mention free cheese. Unfortunately. Modern reality. Today's Wisconsin cheese factories are cleaner, safer, and far less nap-friendly. Workers wear protective gear. Machines have emergency stops.
Subscribe and like.
Conveyor belts are guarded. But the law remains. Quiet, forgotten, yet official. It's a reminder of a time when lawmakers responded to very real, very strange human behavior with permanent legal language. Because while technology changes, people getting tired at work does not. Why Americans secretly love laws like this. These laws are funny, but they're also historical snapshots. They capture moments when society collectively said, "Okay, that was weird. Let's make sure it never happens again." They show that laws aren't always born from big moral debates. Sometimes they come from exhaustion, confusion, insurance claims, and one guy who really needed a nap. Once written, the law becomes immortal, even if the problem disappears, like a warning label no one reads anymore. Final question. So now I ask you, would you break this law? If you worked a long shift, if the factory was warm, if the conveyor belt looked surprisingly comfortable, would you lie down just for a second? Because in America, freedom is wide, work is hard, cheese is sacred, and apparently, even naps have rules.